So this video is not supposed to cause controversy, but it's supposed to be logical. And there's a trending topic, causing a stir on social media, and this is how it started. So Bonnie Shaw equalized for, Man City in the WFL, and someone said the women's game needs a smaller pitch and 9 aside goals. I'm sorry. And that was the start of a full-blown argument. And the argument is very simple. In women's football today, should they reduce the pitch sizes? Do you agree with that notion?
Nope, I don't. I think that maybe the women's game has been on for a long time. They've always played like this. We've watched Champions League games. We've watched Femini, Barcelona.
We've seen the game improve despite
We've seen the game improve, and it has been evolving rapidly. Yeah. We've seen a game at Camp Nou. We've seen a game at Mestalla, my stadium. And nothing, I don't see why it should be reduced, because also, of course, people talk about the height and the physical disadvantages and all of that. I hear all of that, but the players themselves, they want to play like that. They like it. They're fine with it. And one thing also that should be noted is that whenever anybody, at least on football Twitter, whenever people like that comment on things relating to women's football, it's probably because they saw one highlight, not because they actively follow the game, and also because they want to be stylishly condescending.
And also bring out, let people hear my voice. Let it be like, I said something about this.
It's not about them having actual passion for female football or being like active fans of the sport or people that actually watch it. Because if you watch it, you would have already... It's not something that really comes to your mind when you watch the matches, actually, because you see the tactical evolution that is happening. You see how the players are playing. And you would have also seen goalkeepers that make saves for balls that you think, that they are saying that they cannot make saves.
Sometimes people try to make it... Sometimes I think it's on a considerable part. Maybe you're trying to be considerate, because let's remember, we look at, for volleyball, the female net is lower than that of male. For hurdles, where we know Toby Amusan is, the height of the hurdle is not as high as that of the male.
Yeah.
I know in basketball, the ball is smaller for female. But then, this is football that has been played with all this wide, and there's
same way.
And it's been going well. And it's even improving compared to other years. So I don't think that is needed, because you look at it, it's a team game. It's a team sport. So which means that these 11 players can run this pitch.
And the what do you call it? The rules are the same for everybody.
Are the same
so
for
it's
everybody.
Not like it's unfair to one person.
And I think even when people want to say this thing, it's good that you try to hear from the players directly.
Themselves.
It's wrong when you want to make this sort of assumption. It's like in tennis, where people tell you that
insulting. Females
cannot do 5 setters. But there's no time you've ever seen a female tennis player and she tells you that I cannot. No, it's just the rule that came. No, let's just be considerate with the ladies. Let's give them the 3 setters. So before you have your say on this, I think you have to hear first from the athletes, because you can't feel the pain more than the athletes themselves. They are the one that will tell you, do we want it to
it's one, as much as I agree with you guys, but I'll have to take a different opinion. Yeah. I mean, you guys are saying it's sexist, blah, 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 blah. But what if it is not? What if some people are suggesting it not from a sexist?
No, that's why I say you could be considerate. I mentioned that.
There's a sexist.
But I'm not looking at the sex. I'm looking at the logical angle. And you said, if the players cannot say, but what about when a world-class legendary manager once said it? What about Ima Hayes when she wrote in her column that reducing the pitch for women would make the game faster? And she gave a logical explanation that when you look at the length of a pitch, when you look at how Robertson and Trent will spread the ball from left to right, that was how they became very successful from left to right. She said, how many people in women's football can do that? Forget all the tactical evolution you are talking about. There are just some things that we know that this is not about quality. Women's football has improved, but physically there are limitations to what women can do and what they can't do in sport. That's why there's always men's football and women's football. Otherwise, men and women will be playing against each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about this topic being a tricky one. I understand your point, and it's on a considerable note, like we've said at that time. But then,
have you ever noticed that in the second half of women's football, have you ever noticed why you see many goals from the 70th to the 90th minute?
Yeah, because the fatigue sets in.
they get very tired.
But Liverpool
But
always
then we'll
score.
still see them
In male
score.
football, Liverpool score a lot after the 70th minute.
But one thing we know about this thing is that I'm not saying that
That's what I'm saying.
Arsenal
concentrated, but
today.
then if you want to,
If men even get tired, that's the point here. If in men's football we see it,
is it
how much
fatigue?
more? It's
but I don't think
fatigue.
but we've seen it. Okay, let's use the most of recent memory. Let's remember our Super Falcons against England. Full 90 minutes, it was goalless. They still went on to the
Extra
additional time. Extra time.
Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Like physically, just by normal biology and everything, women are more prone to injuries.
Yes.
They are more prone to ACLs. Women who have stuff like, okay, a woman might get pregnant and she has missed one or maybe 13 months of her career, not for something she did, but because of her biology. So if you look at it from that angle, I get what Bene is saying, because that tweet was from a sexist standpoint. He was trying to mock women's football. We saw the intent in what he was trying to do. But if you look at it logically, if they slightly reduce the length of the pitch, it can actually do more.
Well, you know, I also talked about you have to ask the players themselves, because if you look at reports, have said that even when they asked football players, they said no.
Their egos might not.
It's not just egos.
Because
their egos might not.
I'm going to bring this up.
Apart from the egos, let's remember that this same female football we're talking about, it feels like there's an unequal playing ground. Most of these female teams will not play in the main pitches. They play in training pitches. They don't get a lot of. If Super Falcons want to play now, they don't play in Uyo. They take them to Abuja to go and play at the Moshood Abiola Stadium. That is not convenient for the male team to play. But the women will play it. So they're saying, if you want to bring this kind of rules, make the most easiest of things. Let other things be normal first. Before we talk about reducing the goalposts. Because I understand that.
Let what kind of things be normal?
Let things be normal.
Give
them a better playing pitch. Give them better facilities. When all of these things are the same, equal with the men, then we can now say...
Equal. Are you suggesting equal pay too?
I'm not talking about equal pay. Okay. I've once talked about equal pay. I'm saying even if women and men want to be paid equally, be paid from what you can generate.
That's what I was going to say. Women's football will never generate as much as men's football.
But I believe that for national teams,
it should be the same.
Everybody's
representing the same country.
You know why they talk about let's use the US. For no matter how good the female team has been, they've been dominant in the world. They still cannot pump in the kind of sponsorship deal that the male team that is not winning anything is doing.
So they didn't even qualify for 2018 World Cup.
But they are still like the face. Pulisic is like the face. Because we follow football, that's why we would know. Rapinoe and all of that.
But I want to bring out something.
So it's
in male football, we are complaining that you see the players complaining that.
There are over
too many games. Is anybody listening to them?
No.
It's almost like they don't matter. People sit in the boardrooms and make a decision, and players have to go with it. Players are complaining, nobody's listening to them. Now, on a matter that players are not even complaining in female football, players are even like, let's play like that. Yeah. People are telling them that no, the game will be better if we do this for you. Do you listen? I've been part of like a competition, a female football competition, where at one point I realized that the men were playing more minutes than the women.
Yeah.
The men were playing about 40 minutes. The women were playing about 30 or 25 minutes. So one day I asked one of the female footballers, like, I just asked her about it. And she said, nobody consulted us to ask if we want this. That actually all my teammates want to play the standard time. We want to play more football. So usually you'd see them, because I noticed that whenever it was halftime, they just looked very disappointed. Like, we just started this match now.
Did you see a time where an under-15 side beat the US team? Did you see did you see it?
I don't know what the relevance is.
You saw it, right? An under-15 side beat the US female team. No, this is one of the relevance is this is one of the top teams in the world. At regular level, and under-15 male side beat them. That's to tell you that there is still that golf that you can never.
No, but what does that have to do?
No matter the golf,
the time that the players play for.
If there is less time, then they can put in more energy, and it can be more competitive.
It means that they don't find their rhythm
No,
Like,
there's no.
Why?
You know, in football,
You are playing
you find
15
your
minutes.
rhythm with time.
With time, you don't
And
just start
that
and
30 minutes.
before you
It's
find your
where,
rhythm,
you're already in the mood.
Yes,
You're already
and next thing is
play
halftime.
better,
You're
and
already
then
tired,
it's
but they're already tired.
No, they're not. The girls are saying they're not tired.
I think we should. This
We cannot make those
should be
decisions for them.
better.
That's my point. You cannot tell them that you are tired. Go and sit down. The person that is playing the game is saying that I want to play more.
No, but
I'm
for
not
me, I
tired.
feel.
We cannot
I
make
feel-
it. So if they go on and say the rule now is that for short put, women and men must live the same thing. How will you respond to that?
Player,
And they don't,
no, I want to
how
hear.
will you respond to that?
No, I want to hear from the players themselves. People that are doing the short put.
No,
is it
no,
too
no.
heavy for you? Whenever you
You
want
don't
to
need
make
to
a
ask
decision,
them. Sometimes logic tells you.
No, see,
logic
see,
tells
you cannot have stakeholders.
You cannot carry
You cannot have stakeholders and not involve them in decision
make decision
making.
for them. You know, you
have
can't
to-
make decisions
you
for
don't
them.
Even when
need to
FIFA,
make-
when
it's just
FIFA wanted
logic.
to make, when FIFA
It's
wanted to
logic.
change agent rules, for instance, agents are not part of FIFA. They just get licensed by FIFA.
Yeah.
They had to call agent representatives and involve them, even if whether they believed the agents themselves believe that it was just for formality sake. But the important thing is that
do you
FIFA
guys
can
know that
say
women play
involve
less?
them.
Women play like 50% less football than men, but they have more than 2 times more ACL injuries. Why?
Yes,
Why?
because
Then why?
no, we've seen a study
why
that
should
shown
it
that
happen?
because of the lifestyle at
It's not
early
lifestyle,
age.
it's
I'm
biology.
At early
No, it's
age,
not,
yes.
it's not the
No, no,
biology.
no,
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 it
no,
wasn't
lifestyle
related to
early age.
biology.
This is not your
No,
lifestyle.
but
Their bodies are not trained for it.
No, that biology
It is
has
actually
not, it
right.
has not been
It is
linked
not
to
just
biology.
It's not just
It has
biology.
the major
It's
fact
not just
is due to the
lifestyle.
It's not just-
sedentary
It is the
lifestyle.
biology.
Yes, when they are
We don't
growing
do
up.
too many sports when we are growing.
Yes.
So at the point when we start
So your
doing
body
it,
does not adapt to
you
that.
cannot adapt. Your muscles feel easily sprained because of you
Yeah.
do so many activities. It has not been linked
When girls are trying
directly
to
to
do
biology.
sports when they are young, they tell them to go and sit down in the house.
There is that. For me, I understand that the
affects
sports
Whether
want to make
producer
things better.
will allow me or not, on this set, me I will enter Google because I know I'm right. I know I've Googled this before.
I know the biology you're talking about, the way their bodies are. But
See,
you are saying that
it
it's
has
not
not
purely
been
biology.
directly
It's not only biology. That's the point you are saying.
Why do
understand what you are
women
saying.
get more ACL than men? And
Who
it's
is the
simple.
source?
Anatomy. This is it. This is
the-
it
because
now.
who-
This is it.
who ran
This is
were
it
there
here.
results
This is
to
it
show
here
it
because women
there?
are more knock needs. This is normal biology.
Which is
Women
it's
are more
not
knock
only-
needs.
it's not only biology.
It's not about lifestyle. Even
I'm
if you
saying as
are
you are
training, even
growing.
if a girl has been training since she was little to be a
No.
footballer,
Biology.
she would still be more prone to
See,
ACL
no
than
matter
men.
how you were
It is
trained as a
biology.
lady, the
I've
same
done
number
my
of
research
games,
on this
the same number of
years
training times
ago.
like a man.
Yeah.
It is not possible.
You know
Even
that-
parents-
you know that
your
even-
mother self will tell
This is
you,
not
You know that-
let her go and
this is a
You know-
medical report. And this is a medical report.
How many? Oh yeah, I want to ask you. This knock knees.
Anatomy,
Okay,
biomechanics and
okay.
hormones.
Do you know
These
that
are the things
Rafael
that make them
Varane?
more
Rafael
prone.
Varane has
You can't
knocked
change
knees.
this.
How many ACL injuries has Varane had in his life?
Varane is one player out of how many? We are talking
No,
about normal anatomy
you-
of a woman.
he has
We are
he has the
mentioning
most
Varane.
knocked
The
knees I've
major
ever
thing-
seen.
Varane.
If you
We are
go
talking
and-
about
He has the most
normal
knocked
anatomy.
knees I've ever
If
seen.
have done that findings to see, they're still saying
Bring
if
it out.
it is not
Bring it out where
directly,
It's not directly
Bring
linked.
it out where it shows.
It's
it.
just a theory.
Bring it out where it shows.
And we're saying that it's not purely. You cannot attribute
is
it to
anatomy.
only one.
That is the
It's- you
major.
cannot-
That
you
is the
cannot
major
attribute it
factor.
to
It's
that
multiple
You guys
things.
can
The
do your
major
research.
factor
You can
Because
do
I've
your
read
research.
about this stuff
lifestyle.
too.
You can do
I've
your
read about this
research.
stuff
Check
too.
10
I've read about
What she
this-
said
I
and
have
what
read
you
about
said,
seven-
I've read both of
Major
them.
factor.
The major factor is a
The
combination
anatomy, no,
of
it's not the
factors.
combination,
It's a combination of. It's not the anatomy.
Let's not spread what
Because
is
if
not
it is the
correct.
anatomy, is it every female footballer that gets ACL
See,
injuries?
National Institute of Health, NIH, why are they more pro? Neuromuscular factors. They have knocked knees. I was
It's
not
not
there an
the same thing
athlete. I
that
know
leads to
this.
that still
I know
leads
this.
to
I
the
borrowed a
sedentary
course where
lifestyle.
they taught
Eh.
us this.
It's not the only thing. That's
is
what
the
we're
major
saying.
reason, but that's the major reason.
It's not. It's not the major.
reason.
It's
This study was
it's a
even tried
combination
by
of
the
things.
Baroness of the, I think that's for the UK. I'm trying to remember.
Yes,
her
because
name.
they've been talking about
Baroness
it.
Campbell
It's an
did that
issue.
interview. I watched it fully. She said people always say that it's linked to their hormones, and that's the major thing that they've seen has to be due to the sedentary lifestyle.
When
that
they are
she,
growing
as I
up.
said, she even played football, but she did not play as much as her brothers. You cannot compare. No matter how much a lady goes for training, at some point as a parent, you say, let her rest small. But you as a man, you just keep doing the training because the father wants you to be good. He expects you to see that other players like you are doing that same thing.
What you are saying
You can't add
what you
it.
are saying, there is no proof. I've shown you You can check it. This is on Sky Sports.
I've read all those things.
It is your joint. It is
I've read all those things.
It's
a factor. It's a factor. But you know that your body also evolves. Do you know that? I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. But I don't want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. Do you know that the way your feet are?
Yeah.
When you play football or when you even walk a lot, not on slippers but barefoot, do you know it changes how your foot?
Yes, now it changes
the way because your body has to adapt to gripping.
My point is that
that's what we're saying. That
fault,
your body can change.
Put a guy here that does not train, a woman here that does not train. Let them grow. Let them do the same thing socially. The woman is more prone to an ACL because of her anatomy. You can't change it. There are some things you just
more
can't
prone.
change.
It's a factor, yes. I'm not denying that it's not a factor. I'm saying that it's a factor, of course. I've read about it. I've read about you said it's a factor. But I'm also saying that
she can check.
The thing she's talking about, I've also read about it. What she's saying, I've also read about it.
I'm saying the main factor is the anatomy. You can check. I promise.
But anyway, the ultimately, the point is that for me, my own point of view is that if you are going to make a decision that affects people, they have to be stakeholders in that. They are stakeholders in the game. The women are stakeholders in the game. You have to involve them. So if the players are not complaining, yes, if the players are not complaining, it can't be.
I think it's something they can ask them.
The people who come up with these things, who predominantly they are men. People who say these things that women's football should blah blah blah, they are men. When they change those rules, the only thing they will do is mock female football. That people that play with 9, that's not a sport. People that play with 9 players.
No.
I've been watching female football since at least 1999. I've seen the Messi Aki days. I've seen Nigerian teams. I've seen Bridget Prince, Mata, all of them. And I assure you, there's not one moment where I've been watching a women's football match where the first thing I thought was, they need to reduce the post. Personally. I've never...
When you were watching football, there was no one moment where you thought, oh, maybe they need to scrap out golden goal or they need to bring in VAR.
I still want golden goal. I wanted VAR too.
Things change.
No, I wanted VAR.
Things evolve.
No, I wanted VAR all along.
You wanted VAR all
yes,
along.
since like 2002 World Cup when they robbed Italy.
So sorry, I've not been able to get, but look at this one. No, I'll tell you because I'm not just saying what I'm not sure.
No, this is a BBC report.
I am not just saying what I'm not sure.
So what does
they need more athleticism?
Because from
it
doesn't get to that
read
level.
It from the start where you said
yes,
I don't need to read that report before they will mention that it is the anatomy.
We need to build it in much earlier. We can't suddenly do that. We need to be working with players much earlier on.
What does the starting report say? I don't need to look at it.
No, they need more athleticism because in England, compared to other countries, because they mentioned other countries where those players tend to start early.
Factor?
Agility. It's talking about agility.
They did not state
that they are not agile because they didn't start early. It's the same point.
You cannot just link ACL to just the.
I can.
You
because
can't.
It is the major factor.
You can't.
It is the
but
major.
Anyway, let's round this up. So, what's your final verdict?
My final verdict is that I think it will be a welcome development, but they should not take the decision on behalf of the women. They should ask them. If they don't agree to it, then leave it.
Okay.
Now, there are more pressing needs. Let them have better facilities. Let them do the most important. Then when you've done that, if these ladies are not performing better, if they are not giving the best input, then you can ask them, okay, should we reduce the goalpost? Should we do that? Those are, for me, it's secondary. I don't think it's primary.
It's not priority.
I don't think it is.
And for me, I believe that I enjoy the game as it is, the female game as it is. And I don't think that changing it, I think changing it will even like turn me off because I don't know why I'll be watching 9 instead of 11.
You get used to it.
Me, I don't used to get used to things. So I'm
very
rigid like this. I'm very rigid like this.
You are watching the new Champions League.
I'm only watching it so that I can analyze on Better Expert Nigeria. If you leave me, I'm not watching any of those matches. Why am I watching Real Madrid?
You have to watch.
Why am I watching Real Madrid or Arsenal? I beg. And that's all we have for you today. But let us know what you think. Is this a welcome development that should be added to women's football, or is it something that you think should not be added? Is the game good, perfect as it is? Also, do you think it's coming from a place of genuine concern and, of course, a a desire to see the female game grow, or is it more of condescension and something more cynical that is bringing up these conversations? But anyway, I believe that the players should be consulted and their wishes should be respected 100%. And if they say they like it the way it is, then so be it. But follow us on all our social media platforms. And of course, we have a Telegram group where we post.
That's booming.
Yeah,
This
is the green goddess at this current time. Every time that she drops a game, everybody's rushing like green goddess. But anyway, follow us and let us know what you think. Our TikTok as well is there. Expert Ninja everywhere. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Ciao.